Hi, this is Marc Morrell reporting for ToonBarn.com, and I have with me at New York Comic Con Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano on The Clone Wars.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you. We wanted to know, you've been at Celebration 6, you've been at Star Wars Reads Day, you were down in Georgia for that, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you've also been at all the different conventions, all the Comic Cons, and you have her universe, and you do Ahsoka Tano. How do you manage all this?
My husband's in the background. I'm giving him a look. Just make sure to get plenty of sleep when you can, because it's definitely been a busy summer, but it's been a blast. I mean, this started off with Disney Star Wars weekends, and then to have Star Wars Celebration 6, and now to cap it off with such a big event like New York Comic Con. It's been so much fun, and I pinch myself the fact that I get to go around and do this as my job, and then also get to promote such a great show like Star Wars The Clone Wars, which just premiered.
Right, we're in season 5 now, and Ahsoka's going to go through some tough things this year?
It's a pretty dramatic season, yes. She, is working with the rebels right now on Onderon in these episodes, and it's really nice to see her in more of a mentoring role where she is training the rebels, and she's, the one doing the teaching versus being the student, which is new for her, definitely. And that continues in season 5. We get to see her be more of a mentor and a teacher rather than the apprentice. But it's definitely a dramatic season for her, and you might have more questions than answers by the end of the season.
Well, we know that she has sort of a little bit of an affinity for Lux, right? And as a little bit of a treat for the fans, would you be able to, like, say a line as Ahsoka where you have to put a little twist of jealousy on it? And what I'm going to say is, like, why does she need to be there with him? Like that kind of thing?
Oh, okay. Is that the line?
Yeah.
Oh.
How would a Jedi Padawan who has, not supposed to have jealous feelings say a line like that? Or how would you say a line like that as somebody who's not supposed to have feelings and then still have those feelings?
Okay. Why does she need to be there with him?
Very good. Very good. Very good. Oh, that was cool. You also have her universe,
Yes.
right? And that's a very successful clothing business for women, right? Which has licensing deals with...
We have a licensing deal with Lucasfilm, the Sci-Fi network, CBS Consumer Products, which does Star Trek, and then also BBC America for Doctor Who.
You went a little bit crazy when you got the Doctor Who, didn't you?
Oh, I totally geeked out over Doctor Who. It happened at San Diego Comic-Con, and they approached us, actually. And all of the girls had been asking for Doctor Who, but I didn't even think it was possible because, I think the BBC over in London, I don't even know how to make that happen. And next thing you know, BBC America is walking up to our booth saying, "We heard that you're the company that does t-shirts for girls." And I literally about fell over. I just, to me, that blew my mind that they had heard of us because, we're still a small company. We're not even 3 years old yet. And to have BBC, approaching us blew my mind. It's a wonderful gentleman by the name of Ed Casey. And he had heard about us and approached us, and he's just been so wonderful to work with. And it has been a dream come true. I mean, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. I'm a Whovian, and to be able to play in that playground really is just such an honor.
Right. So there was a special T-shirt, and we're going to go back to Star Wars, that you had heard Carrie Fisher like the line, "Looking for love in Alderaan places," right? And you made that T-shirt for her, right?
Yes. I actually got to be on a panel with Carrie Fisher at Dragon Con, which, again, that blew my mind because it was called the Stars of Star Wars panel. And, I mean, to be on the same stage with Carrie Fisher, I didn't even feel right about it. It's like, wait a minute, she should have her own panel by herself. I don't belong on that panel with her.
Did you get to see her at this Comic-Con? Because she's here?
I didn't get to see her. It was so busy. But she's been so supportive of her universe and so supportive of me. And she comes up to our booth and she buys the product, which I try to tell her not to, and she insists on buying it. But I got to ask her, I said, if you could have anything on a t-shirt, what would you have? And she said, I've always liked the phrase, looking for love in Alderaan places. So I said, done. We're going to make a t-shirt with that phrase on it, and it's inspired by you. And I know it's definitely more of a witty shirt, playing on the fact that Luke and Leia are brother and sister, but it was definitely inspired by Carrie Fisher.
Did you ever think that maybe that might start something new, as like saying having your female celebrity friends and stuff like that either take a line that they like from any of these properties that you work with, or a design or something like that, make that shirt in honor of that celebrity, and then maybe donate to charity for it?
Well, all of our designs have always been inspired by someone from the very beginning, because these franchises are so large that, where do you start? So I've just used people's stories or opinions as inspiration for my designs. For example, Catherine Tabor, who's the voice of Padme on the Clone Wars, one of our first shirts that said, "I love you, I know," was inspired by her. She loves that scene, and we had a recording session one year on Valentine's Day. So she brought in heart-shaped cookies, and half of them said, "I love you," half of them said, "I know." And because of that, I've always, thought of her when I think of that scene. And so I wanted to do a shirt that was inspired by her in that recording session. So I've always done that. And we absolutely are actively looking at ways that we can support different charities. So that's a very good idea.
Okay. In the same respect that you have made a line of clothing for women with Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, and all those properties, Alyssa Milano has also made a line of women's clothing for sports. Have you and Alyssa Milano ever gotten together and gotten ideas off of each other?
Well, I'm actually very glad you asked this question, because Alyssa Milano was my inspiration to start her universe. I've been a big fan of her line since the day she launched, because my husband, being a baseball player, I was one of those female fans that wanted more merchandise made for women in the sports arena, and there just wasn't much of it. So I've been buying her pieces, ever since the beginning. And when I was cast in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, I said, somebody has to do what Alyssa's doing for sports and do that for sci-fi. And so I definitely was inspired by her, and I've talked about her in so many interviews. She read an interview and was so kind. She reached out to me and actually sent me a box of her merchandise. And
wow,
for me, I was so honored, because she's been a huge inspiration of mine, and just the fact that she's even recognized what I'm doing just blew my mind.
Yeah, that's really cool. Favorite Star Wars recipe?
Ooh, I don't know if I can give you a fast one. I don't have one, but I'd love the recipe for the cookies from the dark side, because they say, come to the dark side, we have cookies. Well, what's your recipe? I want to know it.
All right. Who shot first?
I've been told not to answer that question.
Okay. What is your favorite movie of the 6 Star Wars movies?
Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back.
Very nice, very nice. Very cool. Have you ever seen all 6 movies in a row?
No. I've seen 1, 2, 3 in a row. And then actually 4, 5, and 6 in a row. I've never seen all 6.
Yeah, we actually went from 8 a.m. to midnight and watched all 6 in a row. It's crazy, I know.
Awesome. It's not crazy at all. It sounds like fun.
It is. Are you a dog or a cat person?
Dog person. Totally a dog person.
Do you have a favorite breed?
Bichons. My favorite. Little white dogs.
Do you have a favorite restaurant?
Yes, I do. It's called Cafe Napoli in St. Louis, Missouri. Best Italian food ever.
Wow. I wouldn't have thought St. Louis. Wow, that's cool. You are going to be doing a new Disney cartoon, is that correct?
Yes, it's called Sofia the First, and it comes out, I think, November 18th.
Oh, we have it. And you play a bluebird.
Yes, I'm the voice of Mia the Bluebird, and it's definitely inspired from classic Disney animation. And she's just a singing songbird, and she's kind of goofy, kind of silly, kind of flighty for a bird. Definitely a departure from Ahsoka. She's kind of the comic relief.
When you go in and do a voice recording for either a movie or the episodes from Star Wars: The Clone Wars, how long is it from the time that you make that recording until you officially hear that in a new episode or movie?
It usually is about a year before you actually see it on TV. So right now, we're a year ahead for Star Wars: The Clone Wars, actually more than a year. And for Sofia the First for Disney, yeah, it's a little over a year since I've started work on it, so a long time.
Okay. Well, I have to say, I know you're busy and you got to get moving on and everything, but it was a pleasure talking to you, and we really thank you. And good luck with everything at her universe. Good luck with everything with Ahsoka Tano, your new movies, everything.
Well,
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
May the Force be with you.
Oh, and the Force be with you too. Thank you.